Alrighty, well, we're moving through things with these tutorials pretty well, and I think it's about time that we step it up a bit. We've looked at a whole bunch of tools. We've looked at how to tweak some settings and bits and pieces. Let's make a slightly bigger scale shot, right? So I'll show you now the shot that we're going to create. Basically what it is it's an orb or a ball of light in the middle of the room here. We've got the faces on the wall as a background, and I'm going to do some blading off to the side of the orb. It's a shot I've done in here before. I really love it. I always love wrapping stuff around the orb, but what I've decided to do is build it right from scratch. I've just picked a color, quite a golden color for the orb, for the ball of light. It's the golden head. I've got a blade, so it's a Kaio with the Claris torch with one of my grips on it, just for ease. And the colors that this has in it are a sort of a blue and a yellow color. So they're pretty cool. So we've got blues and yellows, but what I'm going to do, on the back walls, I'm using just some studio lights to add color, and you could do it with any way you like, but what I'm going to do is I'm just putting I'm just laying over the top, just a gel, and this is, it could be cellophane or whatever you wanted. So I'm just going to go and chuck this on and I'll show you. Okay, so I think earlier on in when we were talking about the processes that we were going to be going through with these tutorials, there's going to be a bit of time acceleration here, and I'll give you an idea why. For me to spin a ball of light takes 90 seconds. So I pretty much count that in my head, and I've done many of them. So I can pretty much count 90 seconds. So I count through that. Then what I do is I come and put the tool down off to the side. I pick up the blade, and then I do my blading. Now here are the things that I need to think about. When I frame up, and I'll talk you through how I'm going to frame it up, I'm going to get the camera down low. I think it's too easy to just always have the camera up here. So I'm a bit of a fan of changing the angle. So I want to get down nice and low. I know that we get nice reflections off these floors. I'm going to frame up. I've got a coin. Got a nice silver coin here that I'm going to use as my spinning point. But here are the things that I'm trying to think about. I need to think about the amount of light that is on the back wall. Now I've got those lights turned all the way down. I'm thinking that we're going to be maybe, what, 90, maybe 3 minutes of exposure. So I've just sort of set them to the lowest setting on them. We're going to be at f5.6 because that's our kind of magical spot. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin my orb, do the blading. It probably will take all up about 3 or 4 minutes. So that's a long time. So what I'm going to be doing is you'll see, once I start spinning, you'll see down the bottom of the screen, accelerated time. You'll see things happening quite quick. Yeah, and then we'll have a look. I'll dissect the shot with you, and then more than likely we'll probably have to do it 1 or 2 times. So this is a bit of a long one, but you're gonna understand what I'm thinking, and you're gonna see the things that we change to try and get the shot right. So yeah, let's not muck around. Let's get into it. So here are the things I want. The very first thing I always think about is I think about my framing. What do I want to have in the frame? How far out do I want things to be? So the very first thing I do is I want to be down nice and low. So I'm going to take the camera and I'm just going to put this tripod down to not all the way on the ground, but I'm certainly going to drop it down a bit. All right, so I'm just going to pop down here. Awesome, we can see the camera there. You'll be able to see what's going on. First of all, how far away do I want the orb to be from the camera? Well, I'm framing up the camera, so I'll just get this recording. So I'm framing up the camera. So we're right on the center line. You can see there's a center line running down here. I can see the top of the roof there. Now, what I always think about is I'm going to crop this 16 by 9 because 16 by 9 is my favorite crop. So I've got enough of the floor there. So I'm going to grab my silver coin And I'm just going to grab something, anything. I've got this tripod here. Now it could be your camera bag, it could be a stick, whatever. I'm just going to step this out to where I think the orb should be. And I'm just going to go around about here. I'm putting my coin on the ground and I'm popping the tripod on top of it. And then I'm just going to grab a torch and I'm going to shine it onto the tripod. We'll imagine that it's dark, right? We haven't got some big studio lights here. Oh, I grabbed an RGB torch, but that's all right. So I shine onto the tripod. I focus up on that. Cool. So I'm happy that we're focused up on the tripod. What I do is now putting a little silver coin on the ground, sometimes that can get lost, right? So this is what I always do. And I reckon this is one of the classic tips. So let's say we turn all our torches off and our headlamps. I step out to the coin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I know that the coin is approximately 6 seconds that way. Now, because our camera is limited to, this is where our remotes come in, right? So I need to be on, rather than manual, which we've been on for quite some time, I need to be on bulb and not on live composite. Okay, bulb mode, and we're firing up our remotes for the first time. All right, let me just check that it's working. Cool, so I know that this one is connected. Awesome. So here's what we're going to do. Here is my remote. Now, you can adjust everything on these, but on this particular remote, what I'm interested in is long. So I go into the long, and I'm going to be in there for at least 90 seconds with spinning my orb, and we've got a bit of blade work. So let's go 3 minutes. I reckon is a pretty good start. And I always do this. I always just check. Yep. So it's going. We can see on the screen there, 4, 5, 6 seconds. All right. Now I'm specifically not using live composite doing this, which is the feature that I showed you the other day. And the reason I'm not doing that is because I know you're not all using that. There will be some very specific tutorials for live composite, but at this stage, I just want to use bulb so you can see kind of what's going on. All right. So it's about to get dark and I'm about to accelerate through some of this, but I will talk to it as I'm going. So the first thing I do is I grab my ball of light tool, I untangle the cable because I had it tangled up. All right, here we go. Now at f5.6, I don't want the tool to be at its brightest setting, so I can adjust the brightness on this. Now I know that at its brightest setting, that'll be too bright at f5.6. So what I do is I put it at about mid brightness because I know that will work. Here's an interesting thing. I'm about to turn the lights out. Now, if you're outside, your eyes are pretty set for the darkness. In here, my eyes are now, it's going to take a while for them to adjust to the darkness, but it's all right. It takes a little bit of time. Now, I've got those backlights on, but they're set pretty dim. I'm going to put the trigger into my trusty little bag. You're all going to own one of these, I know that. I'm going to turn these lights off. All right. So I'm just going to start my exposure and we'll get into it. So we've started, it's going to click away. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it should be, now my eyes haven't adjusted to, okay, so I've got my spot on the ground. I'm going to start spinning. Okay, now you've all watched the Ball of Light Masterclass, so you know what's going on here. So I'm about to start accelerating, and I'll see you in about 3 minutes. All right, so I've finished the orb now. Now, I'm going to come and put that down, or, you know, if we were out in the field, I might just put it down on the ground. So I've got my blade. I'm going to go back 3, 4, 5, 6. Back to where my coin was. Oh boy, I can't see it. That's all right. I'm going to take a big step back from where the orb was, and let's go with some blading. Do the turning around trick, go back to the center where the orb was, and 1, 2, 3, and locked away. All right, remember the old turning around trick? We put the blade behind us so we can't see it. Okay, we're at 2.5 minutes, so that's around about right. Whoa, rad. All right, let's get these lights on and have a look at this. Okay, cool. Hi, it's almost like time travel, isn't it? All right, so let's take a look at this photograph. It is pretty wild. Okay, so let's take a look. So, look, the first thing I know is that it's a pretty good orb. I've done a couple, which is pretty nice. I think, look, unfortunately, I love the reflection. The very first thing that I look at, right, is that the blade's way too bright. So that's way, way overexposed. The orb is exposed about right, and the back wall is pretty pink, but it's okay, you know, it's all right. So here's what I want to do. So looking at that image, what I want to do is we obviously need to dial the blade down, right? So we can either increase the aperture for everything else, but I quite like the level of the I think the pink on the back wall is fine. I think the orb is perfect, so I'm not even going to touch the power of that, but this is too bright. Now, I can adjust the power of the torch. So I can go down a stop, and I can go down, so it's got 3 settings. So I'm going to go to the mid setting. I'm not going to change a thing, and let's go again. Looking at this, I'm just going to go from f5.6 up to f7.1. Now the reason I'm doing that is that the lights on the back wall are at their lowest power, and the blade was a little hot, but I can't change the 3 minutes. The 3 minutes was perfect for the amount of time that I was out there. All right, so the things we've changed. We've gone from f5.6 to f7.1. I'm going to be using mid power on the blade. I'm not changing anything on the orb. I think the position was good. I'm just going to have a look at that again. Yeah, I'm kind of happy with that. That'll make a nice 16:9 crop. What I am going to do is I'm going to keep these blades here a bit closer to the ground. Alrighty, see you on the other side. Alrighty, so I've finished spinning there. Come back over, put that down, grab the blade. Now, remembering that I've got to put it on half power. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's my coin. So I turn it on, facing the other direction, put it onto half power, and off we go. But I'm going to stay closer to the ground this time. Turn around, turn it. Oh, I can just walk over here actually. Okay, and here we go. It's on half power, closer to the ground. Hiya. There we go, and off. Now I went a little bit longer spinning the orb, so we might actually be close to, oh no, same amount of time, 2.5 minutes. We'll accelerate through that next 30 seconds. Woohoo! Oh my gosh, okay. There's a lot going on there. Okay, the orb is not as good as the other one was. Awesome, okay, let's flick these lights on. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah, look, I really like that. I mean, I wouldn't go again. Maybe there's here we go. This is interesting. There's something going on here. There's a little splodge there. All right. Look, because we're doing this properly, let's have a look. We've been going for 20 minutes. This is going to be a long one, but I think it's worth it. There's a couple of things I don't like about this. One of them is I don't think it's wide enough. I don't think my crop is going to be nice enough. I also feel like the blade work starts in the middle of the orb there, which I don't like too much. So look, because we are being perfectionists, let's have one more crack. Because I want you to realize that, you know, these things take time. Like you know, it might take an hour to get an image like this together. So let's do it. So here's what we're going to do. I'm actually going to zoom out a bit. So I'm going to go out to about there, because any further we get those other lights in, all right? So I'm going to go to about there. Do we need to refocus? Look, probably not. But if we're being perfectionists, then let's be perfect. All right, I'm going out to where my coin is. I'm happy where the coin is, and the reason why I'm happy where the coin is because I like the positioning of the faces with the orb. So let's just check our focus. Cool. So using focus peaking, our tripod lights up like a Christmas tree. I was happy with the power of the blades. It was a little bit blown out, but that's okay. All right. Okay, let's get into it. So we're a little bit wider. We're staying at f7.1. I'm just going to double check. Yeah, and what I want to do is I just want to start the orb. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start the blading from a little bit further out, but I'm also going to make sure the blade is on the ground where the coin is and zhuzh out from there, so it's not going to be up in the body of the orb there. I'm having a lot of fun. I hope you are. All right. Lights out. And grab our remote. We're open. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's my coin, same place. Let's get spinning. 6. Now here's an interesting thing. I count. My steps are my counting. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. All right, there's our orb. So we'll pop our tool back here. We'll grab our blade, remembering to keep it at half power. Now I'm going to go find my coin, and we're going to start the blade on the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I turn it on while facing the other way. I put it onto half power, down on the ground. All right, and then I'm just going to walk across. All right, find my coin, starting on the ground. And we're off. Oh, it's all pretty physical, this. Whoa, rad. That's better. All right, so still it's a pretty sketchy orb, but see how I started on the ground, and so I like the way it's playing with the side of the orb a whole lot better. And the glow on the ground is gorgeous. All right, let's flick the lights on. Okay, I'm just going to bring the camera up here so we can chat about it. So let's have a bit of a chat about that. So that was awesome. I really, so there's the first time that we've really built an image. I probably could have gone a whole nother time, but that's okay. So let's take a look at it. So it's a pretty sketchy orb, but that's all right. I'm just going to hit play and we'll just talk through the images. All right, so there's our first one. So the things that I like and I didn't like about this, it was all a bit intense with the blade. Up on the right-hand side here, it was all a bit crazy. The first thing that I look at is this bit inside the orb here. I didn't like that. Obviously the blading is overexposed. The irony is that the first orb was the best, but the blading was horrible. So what do we do with the next one? So we tried to fix up the, I just wanted to keep the blading down. We obviously adjusted our settings on the blade. We dialed the blade down. Dodgy as orb, but that's all right. I really like that one, but I wanted to fix the light inside the orb there, so we got the next one, and I wanted to go a bit wider. And what you'll see when we post-process this is it's going to make a really nice 16:9 crop, and we'll do some other doohickery in adjusting the image. But yeah, I really like that. I'm super happy. It's a cool image. We built an image together, and I think yeah, I hope you got a bit from that. This is pretty much the format these tutorials are going to take. We're going to start. I'm going to talk you through settings. We're going to make adjustments. You're going to see what happens to the image as we make the adjustments. Yeah, I enjoyed that. Nice. Oh, and we used our remote for the first time, which is pretty neat. And so you can see that as soon as we go longer than 30 or 60 seconds, being able to go 3 or 4 minutes is an absolute winner. Excellent. Let's get into it. I'll see you soon. I hope you enjoyed this visit to the School of Light. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'll be adding videos all the time. Head over to the light painting tool shop at the website. There's a huge array of tools I've made there for you to take on your light painting journey. Peace.